So I finally got moved. I got set back up and just in the nick of time because today I want to talk about the Doppel, an electronic miniature currently setting Kickstarter on fire. An electronic miniature is basically just two screens, a microcontroller, and a battery, allowing you to use screens instead of a token. And these have been tried before, namely by me back in 2022 when I launched the AnyMini campaign on Kickstarter. While my campaign didn't quite make it, the Doppel is fully funded and ending within the next couple of days. Having spent so much time working on an electronic mini project, I was very interested to see what Breadboard Gaming did with the idea. Now, before we take a look, I think it's important to point out I wasn't paid to talk about this. I'm not affiliated and I have no financial interest in the project in any way. I just think it's a great effort and it's worth talking about. And it turns out that we can do more than just simply talk about it because I reached out to Dan Kleinstiver, the creator of Doppel and the creative force behind Breadboard Gaming, and asked if I could take a look. Turns out he's the nicest guy in the world and was happy to overnight me a prototype Doppel, which I have right here. So today let's take a look at the Doppel, some of the features and its build quality and some of the things I think they might want to reconsider. And please do keep in mind that this Doppel that Breadboard Gaming sent me is very much a development prototype, so everything I show is subject to change and improve and is very likely to before they begin shipping them. As far as features, Doppel went big on extras, with promised video playback, onboard sound, LED indicators, Bluetooth support with companion iOS and Android apps. Having played with the app some, it's very clear that Doppel was designed as a device for anyone at the table and not just a dungeon master. And that sounds fun because as a player, being able to have your token scream his war cry when he rolls a nat 20 is just very cool. As for the general makeup of the device, as you can see here, there are two screens and a nice curved glass effect. A single button on the top, charging port at the bottom, as well as a speaker on the other side. Underneath, we get the non-slips pad, which is very effective at keeping the device stable when you're placing it down. As far as dimensions, the Doppel doesn't quite conform with a 1-inch grid with a width of 1.2 inches. And I know why. When you are designing a device that its primary purpose is screens, you just want those screens to be as large and as nice as possible. You also don't want to drive the price of the device up by designing custom screens. So based on what screens are on the market and available for purchase, where I settled with the AnyMini project appears to be where they settled as well, with a 1.9-inch IPS screen with a resolution of 170 by 320. It doesn't sound like much, but at that resolution and screen size, the image is indiscernible from, a printed sticker. The only issue is that the screen itself is right at 1 inch wide, so by using it, you are forced to go over 1 inch in width in order to support it. But they are beautiful screens, and I agree it is worth the trade-off. Overall, the device feels great in hand. This isn't handmade. This feels more like Apple than Etsy. The minimalist design leaves it open to use in many different types of games, not locking its aesthetic to a specific genre. Now, for all that it has going right, there's a few areas where I would like to suggest some extra attention in hopes that the final product be as good as it possibly can be. I am a little concerned with the claimed battery life, specifically when you start talking about supporting video via MP4 and animated GIF. When using just a 600 mAh battery, that gets a little dubious. The LCDs themselves are going to eat up a lot of that battery. And while the processor can generally be underclocked when it's not in use, supporting looped video is going to make that processor work nonstop to keep up with the action. I think before this product ships, end users will probably see the battery size doubled in the device. I have to suggest a USB-C type charging port. The existing charging port has this satisfying magnetic attachment, which is really nice, but the first thing that came to mind when I opened the demo unit was how long before I lose this specific charging cable. It would also be great to see a charging indicator, maybe utilizing the LEDs on the bottom, but I'm sure that's already in the works. The curved glass of the screens is a very nice touch, and it really makes the device stand out. My only issue here is that the curved glass appears to be tinted, which translates to very dark screens. Even turning the brightness up to 100%, the image is quite dark, and under normal light, I think you would struggle to get the detail of the image. So either boost the backlight and use more battery power, or get rid of the tint on the glass. I think getting the screens closer to the table would be a good move, so that it scales better with existing physical minis. And reducing the dimensions wherever you can would help. From what I can see, the device width is pretty much set in stone, but the depth of the device appears to be thicker than it actually needs to be. But for every critique, there's a list of things done right here. With the Kickstarter nearly finished and the extra cash for continued development, the extra eyes on the project will likely produce the electronic mini that we all need in our lives, if in fact we need one. So where do I stand on the Doppel? I like it. I'll be snagging one up this week on Kickstarter. It's an expensive device and for sure not for everyone. But for those still lucky enough to still do in-person gaming, the Doppel could be a great tool to make your game night epic and to better describe your amazing monster, because Nutsack with legs just doesn't do the intellect devourer justice when you could just simply send the monster image to your Doppel, slap it on the table, and get back to the game. And that's it for now. I left a link in the description if you want to check out the Doppel Kickstarter. Don't forget to drop a comment, sub up if you haven't already, and then have a killer week. I will see you guys next time.